What bourbons from the Elite 8 are going to move on to the Final Four? Let's find out. What's going on, everybody? Nathan here with the Everyday Drinker, bringing you guys round number 2 of our Bourbon Madness here on the Everyday Drinker channel. Here we have every single bracket completely blind, like you guys have been asking. I have absolutely no idea what bourbons are in which bracket here. It's completely blind. So we are going to move through round 2 completely today to get to the Final Four to see who is going to move on to be the best bourbon out of the Sweet 16. So without further ado, we're going to start from our left to our right on these brackets and move through. Like I said, I have absolutely no idea what is inside of this. It is labeled with a letter, as you guys can see on the bottom there, and each letter corresponds with a bourbon. So without further ado, let's move into match number 1. All right, so this way I don't mix these up. I'm gonna make sure I pour in their respective glasses and leave it on that side. You will know what I'm drinking, just to let you know. Don't be afraid that you won't know until I know, but you will know as I drink. But as I keep saying, I have absolutely no idea what is in this glass. But without further ado, let's get into the glass on our left. I'm getting this apple. It's a warm caramelized apple, super sweet. It's got a little bit of a dark cherry going on there on the back end of it as well. Let's get into the palate. Wow, palate doesn't really match the nose. It has a very short finish. It's delicious on the initial palate. It's delicious, but then it's gone. Makes me think this is a 90 proofer. What it does have going for it, it has this nice cherry pie with a little bit of cooked sugar. Like, it's not a brown sugar, it's not a toasted sugar, but it's just a nice warm sugar aspect coming on that tail end of that very short finish. Let's move on to our glass on the right here. There's a little bit more oak presence on this. It's a warmer vanilla on the nose. I find a little bit like an orange peel, a sweet orange. It smells very nice. Let's get in the palate. I find a little bit more chocolate in there. It's a little bit more, this one has a lot more going for it on the palate. There's some chocolate, there's a little bit of an espresso. It's got a little bit of a nuttiness coming out for there. That's really nice. It's a much longer finish. Coats the palate. Doesn't drink any hotter than the one on the left. What it has for it is it has this mouth coating experience that just lingers and sits on your tongue, and it's very, very pleasant. I'm going to give this one on the left here one more shot here, and we're going to see if it has any chance to kick off the one on the right, because this one is in the lead at the moment. It's really good. It is really good. Don't get me wrong on that. It's opened up. It's got this little bit of a maple spice at the back end as well. It doesn't have anything on the glass on the right. So right here, you guys are going to find out what the letter is here. And letter corresponds with the bourbon. I have no idea. We're going to move this guy to our left for the winner's circle. And this guy's going back on the shelf. All right, so here we are with match number 2 of round 2. Let's get into the glass here on our right and see what is going to move on to the Final Four. So different than the last match. This is very bright. This has confectioner sugar written all over it. It has some tropical fruits in there. I'm getting a little bit of like a cedar bark. There's some sweetness on the back end of that nose too. Let's get into the palate. That's cherry forward on the palate. It's coming off as a very sweet cherry. It's got this nice subtle oakiness behind that. It has a little bit of a maltiness, like a chocolate malt, cherry chocolate malt. Very, very nice glass there on the right. Let's move on to the glass here on the left. This smells dusty. This smells musty. Smells oaky. There's some straw. This smells dirtier for some reason. Like it just doesn't have that sweetness that this glass here on the right has on the nose. Finding a little bit of a plum, a little bit more of those darker fruits in there. Let's get into the palate. This one here, it has this raisiny aspect to it on that initial palate. It tastes like raisins. That's very nice. Wow, the palate is so much different than the nose. The palate is very beautiful. Holy majoli. That is insane, that palate. It's a very, very warm vanilla. It's a thick mouthfeel. That is immaculate on the mouthfeel and the finish. Whereas going to this one, It's warm, it's bright, but it's got a little bit more of a burn aspect on that end of the finish. And I think I'm gonna have to go with the one on my left here as the winner. And you will know what that is right now. Alrighty guys, we are here on match number 3 of round number 2. And let me know down in the comments if you're enjoying this a little bit more than me knowing what it is and having, because I have no idea if anything has been a surprise knockout or not. You do, I don't, but here we are, match number 3, round number 2, starting on our right-hand side. This smells like fresh wood chips. Like if you've ever had, if you ever worked a wood chipper, this is exactly what it smells like. It just smells like fresh wood chips, fresh oak shavings, whatever it may be, is what's coming off of this nose at the very beginning. There's a touch of a lemon as well. A nice darker sugar, a little bit of a brown sugar coming off of there. But it's warm and bright. Has some strawberries in there. Some nice light red fruits. Let's get into the palate. Oh, that's nice. Has a little bit of an espresso, a little touch of a tanned leather in there. That is very pleasant. It's a lighter sipper. It's not high proof. Very, very nice. Let's move on to the glass here on our left. I get blueberries right off of the nose there. Like a blueberry pie almost. It's sweet, but it's got that dark blueberry nose that I really enjoy. It smells a little jammy. Like there's some residual sugars just sitting in there. Let's get into the palate. That is a very sweet palate. It's a birthday cake in a glass. That's very, very nice. It's very sweet. It reminds me of a creme brulee almost. It really does. Oh, that's sweet. It's got the toasted sugar on top. It's got those nice light red berries that are just lingering in there. But it's just a vanilla pudding in a way coming off of there. Really nice. I'm going to give this glass on the right here one more chance to knock off the one on the left. But the one on the left at the moment is the winner. Yeah, everything that the one on the left has is much better than the one on the right. The one here on the right, it's got this nice espresso, leathery, darker, oakier quality to it. But I enjoy the sweetness, the beautiful sweetness. It's a complex sweetness that's coming off of this one on the left that I'm going to give this one here on the left, the edge and the win. You know what it is? I don't. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are in our final match of round 2 to see which bourbon is moving on to the final 4. We already have 3 winners that you know what they are, and we're about to find out what the 4th one is to move on to the final 4. Starting here on our glass in our left-hand side, let's see what this nose is all about. It's very floral. It smells like a very warm spring day with a nice light rain going on, like that spring rain. You know what I'm talking about? I hope you do, because that smell is very, very strong. But then it has this oakiness on the back end, and then behind that you get this nice sweetness that just rounds everything off so beautifully. It smells so, so nice. It's almost like a lemon bar. It's sweet. It has that citrusy to it, but the sweetness is so mellow, but that lemon is so strong that it almost has this tartness to it. That's very nice. That is very nice. But let's find out what's in our glass on the right-hand side. It smells like Skittles. Like it has that taste the rainbow nose in a way. Like there's every kind of fruit in this glass. But then there's a touch of chocolate as well. Let's get into the palate. This is interesting because I know this one is higher proof. Right off of the bat, I know that this one is higher proof. But this one here, it just has this beautiful flavor profile that just brings everything into this beautiful marriage, and it's plopped into the glass there, and it is fan-freaking-tastic. It's got, now that it's sat a little bit more, right, and it's opened up, that second sip, I'm getting a little bit of a bitterness on the back end of my tongue. It's not taking away from the initial palate. Number 2 is opening up so beautifully. There's this maple syrup aspect to this glass on the right that is just hands down, I think, better than what is in glass on my left-hand side, that I have to give the win to the one on the right here. And you will know what it is. I will not. And we have our final 4. Ladies and gentlemen, we have our final 4 to find out what bourbon is going to be the best bourbon on my shelf at the moment. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. We have our final 4 bourbons here, moving on to rounds number 3 and 4 to find out what bottle is going to move on to be the number 1 bottle on my shelf. Let me know down in the comments if your pick is still in the game or if it's not, and if you've enjoyed this one like you wouldn't believe. Next week, we are going to be doing rounds 3 and 4 for the final video to see which one is the best bourbon on the shelves. Until next time, this has been Nathan with the Everyday Drinker. Cheers.